What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great and blessed day. My day is going pretty good. Get out, enjoy your life, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. Early this morning, when I was taking my freight on the inside of a restaurant, a man that worked at that restaurant walked up to me and he asked me a question. He said, "Hey man, how did you get your CDL? Because I want to get my CDL. I'm tired of working at this restaurant and I want to make more money." I gave the man the information that he needed, and he asked me another question. He said, "Can you blow while driving 18-wheelers?" I said, "Man, no, you can't blow while driving 18-wheelers." And what he meant by that, he meant, can he smoke weed while driving 18-wheelers? I said, "Man, no, you can't do that." He said, "Man, that's stupid. I drive and smoke weed all day long in my regular vehicle. I can function real good." I said, "If you get pulled over and you are high in your regular vehicle, you can get a ticket also for driving under the influence." He said, "For real?" I said, "Yeah. They will give you a ticket today for that." And I said, "Think about this, man." I said, what if you were driving an 18-wheeler high, and you're driving down the interstate high, buzzed out, can't pay attention, can't react in a good time, and you hit somebody and kill somebody? You know you'll go to prison for that, don't you? He said, "I can go to prison for that?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "If you are driving an 18-wheeler and you get pulled over and they find drugs in your system, you can lose your license. And if you hit somebody and take someone's life while driving an 18-wheeler, while being under the influence, which means driving high, if you hit somebody, you can go to jail for murder because you're driving under the influence." He said, "Man, that's stupid, man. That's crazy, man. I guess I can't drive trucks, man." I said, "Hey, man, you got to make a sacrifice if you want to drive trucks." He said, "Oh, man, I'll keep the information. And if I want to drive trucks, I got the information. So, oh, well." Bringing me to this right here, you all. About 5 years ago, when I was driving for FedEx, good paying job, making a lot of money, good money. When I was driving for FedEx, I would train people here and there. The boss man would call me and he would ask me to train somebody. I trained many people at this company, driving for FedEx. And there was one guy that I trained that was pretty strange. Something was not right about this guy. So the supervisor called me one day and he said, "Hey man, I got somebody that is starting this week. I need you to train this person." I said, "Sure, man. It ain't no thing for me to do that. I don't mind doing that. Plus, I have already trained multiple people at this company." So I'm driving, got it in my mind that I'm going to train somebody this week or that week. The guy called me up on the phone and he asked me on the day that I was supposed to train him. He called me and he asked me, "Hey man, what time can I meet you at the yard?" I told him the time and he met me at the yard. I showed the man how to hook the trailers up, how to do his inspection and paperwork. So after we did all of that, down the road we went. I'm having a conversation with the guy. He seemed to be a great guy. I didn't think anything of the guy at all. It was a black guy. That don't matter, but oh well. Me and the guy driving down the road or riding down the road. We having a conversation with each other. He said, man, I'm so happy to have this job. I'm glad because I can pay for my cars and my home and stuff now, man. I'm so happy to have this job, man. I'm so grateful, man. I said, man, that's good, man. I'm happy to have you here, at this company, You seem to be a great guy. To me, anyway. So we're riding down the road, and I heard the man on the phone having a conversation with somebody. And the conversation that he was having with somebody was about drugs. And I'm listening to the dude. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Why is he talking about drugs while he got me sitting beside, driving in his truck, sitting right beside him? That's pretty stupid. I said, this dude right here ain't wrapped too tight. So he got off the phone and he started talking about some things, and he said, man, you got to know how to do right, wrong. Man, this is what he said. He said, you got to know how to do wrong, right. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, you got to know how to do wrong, right. I didn't think anything of it. I kept on driving. When we got to the terminal, the other FedEx terminal, the dude went inside of the restroom for a long time, maybe about 45 minutes. When he came back out, he was acting kind of strange. He was talking and everything, I didn't think anything of it. He sit in the passenger side, in the seat, and we hooked up the trailers and went right back to town. The supervisor called me and he said, man, how's he doing? I said, he doing all right, He said, tomorrow, I want that guy to drive. And I want you to sit. Matter of fact, he said, I want you to call me and tell me how this guy can drive down the interstate. I said, okay, no problem. The next day, me and the guy meet up with each other. He gets inside of the driver's seat, buckle up, did his inspection, paperwork, and down the road we went, having a conversation like the day before. Now, when the guy was driving to the location that we were going to, he was driving good, focused, looking around, watching his mirrors and stuff like that. I mean, the dude was driving good. So I was like, man, this guy cool, man. He already passed the test with me, so it's all gravy. When the supervisor called me, I'm going to tell the supervisor that this guy is ready to roll. When we made it to the terminal, the guy went to the restroom again. Stayed in the restroom for about 50 minutes this time, almost an hour. I'm looking at my time. I'm looking at the time. I'm saying, man, it's time to go, man. What is he doing? The guy finally comes out of the building and gets into the truck. He said that, hey, man, I went inside of the building and bought me a few snacks and, just sitting there vibing. He hooked up the trailers and he hooked up the truck to the trailers, and down the road we went. As the guy was driving down the road, I noticed that something was kind of strange about the dude. He was just driving down the road, looking into traffic, focused. He was not blinking his eyes or anything. He was just looking straight. And I'm like, what's wrong with this dude, man? I'm like, something ain't right, man. I'm like, I said, you good, man? He said, yeah, man, I'm good. And he said it kind of low. So I looked at him and I was like, I said, maybe he's just focused on driving. So I closed my eyes for about maybe 3 minutes. I gave myself a little bit of shut eye. I went to sleep a little bit because I thought the dude had it all in control. Something woke me up and told me, hey, get up, wake up. When I woke up, the guy was pressing on the gas. He was barely pressing the gas, and I seen the speedometer getting lower, lower, and lower. And I said, hey, man. I said, hey. I was yelling loud. I said, hey, man, hey. The dude did not even look at me at all. I'm yelling to the top of my lungs. I'm saying, hey, man, hey. Are you good, man? Are you good? He didn't say nothing. Now, we're about maybe 100 feet away from a lake, driving over a bridge. And I'm panicking at this moment. I'm like, hey, man, I grabbed the wheel, and the dude was still looking in traffic, just looking straight. I know this was God this day. I knew God had his hand on that truck that day. I grabbed the wheel, and I steered us straight down that interstate. The guy was still sitting in the driver's seat, looking straight. Didn't know if he was here or not. All I know was I had to get us out of this traffic ASAP. I finally get the truck to the side of the road, and because the guy was, at this moment, he didn't even have his feet on the gas. He was just sitting in the driver's seat, just staring out of space. When I finally got the truck on the side of the road, I pulled the air brakes out, and the truck stopped. And the man came right back to himself. And he looked at me. He said, man, I love you, man. I love you, man. I love you. I'm like, I said, man, you good? He said, yeah, man, I'm good. And all of a sudden, he got right back into himself, and he was just normal again. And I said, man, get into the passenger seat of this truck, man. I'll drive us back to town. He said, man, I can drive. I said, no, man, I'll drive us back, man. I said, I'm cool, man. I will drive us back. You are not driving me back to town. No. He got out of the truck, walked around to the passenger side, got into the truck, and the guy began to talk to me like nothing happened at all. Come to find out, the dude was on drugs. The company hired somebody that was a drug addict, and they, in some way, somehow, he was able to pass a drug test. I don't know how, but I believe the reason why he said something about doing wrong right or something like that, I believe that's what he meant when he said what he said. He said you got to know how to do wrong right, and I believe that's what he meant by knowing how to pass a drug test or doing something illegal to get through. So the whole moral of this video, you all, is be careful. If you're planning on driving 18-wheelers and you want to smoke weed or get high or get drunk while driving these 18-wheelers, if you got a habit like that you can't kick, don't try to drive trucks. This is not for you. Don't drive trucks. You cannot drive trucks under the influence. You have to be sober at all times. This job takes sober people. It takes a sober person to do this job. Y'all have a good one and also have a blessed one. And also, respect people that drive these 18-wheelers. When you pull in front of us and stop and try to brake check us, we can't stop on a dime. Respect the road, share the road, and respect people that drive these 18-wheelers, because we are the reason why you are able to get the products that you need every day. Respect it. Have a good one and a blessed one. Holla at you.